wealth, fame, power. Our hosts have none of that, but the creator of this manga and anime certainly does, and 4 North Americans decide to check it out. Join us as Rosen Thorn. There's a literal barrel monkey in this. Think about that. Becky Hopkins.
Yay, it's the Titty Man!
The Hero of Tomorrow.
Yo ho ho, he took a bite of Shut
And the Media Hunter.
What the hell, Luffy? You're bulletproof!
Make their way through the One Piece anime. This is Tracing the Grand Line. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna be the first person to make a Riff Tracks reference because I have one in my notes. For those who don't remember, that's Isaac's quote is referencing Super Argo and the Faceless Giants, where Argo, who is, again, as Isaac pointed out, bulletproof, just lets a guy die via getting shot.
Oh, what the hell, Argo? You're bulletproof!
Well, see, now I'm just thinking of the MST3K Prince of Space episode. Your guns won't work against me!
Well, welcome everybody to Tracing the Grand Line, a One Piece podcast. How did we get here? That's thanks to you. See, I'm married now, and as a fundraiser for my honeymoon, I set a few goals on stream. And one of those was to do this podcast where Becky, Isaac, Eli, and I grew through all of One Piece over time. So with that in mind, let's go around and talk about our connection to One Piece. I'll go first. I read the manga in Weekly Shonen Jump, back when that was a thing. Actually, I think it was monthly here, but point is, I read it, and up to about, what I want to say, what was the guy, what was, I think, what's the name of the whale?
Laboon?
Laboon. I read it up to Laboon, and I watched the anime up to Alabasta, and I can't remember if, I think that was the 4Kids one, unfortunately. But, I've never gotten past that. So, here we are.
I mean, I'm not going to judge you for watching 4-Piece. Our viewing options were limited back
Did you
in the
say
day.
4-Piece?
I meant to say 4Kids! One Piece!
I'm just imagining...
4 piece of chicken.
I was gonna say, a Luffy straw hat on a chicken nugget. See, I was gonna say Becky might be the Shora of this group in that she makes the dumb edits that we come up with. That might be the first one. Speaking of Becky, what is your connection to One Piece?
So, it's always been, like, since at least the mid-2000s, it's always been kind of in my periphery as someone who likes anime and has friends who likes anime. I didn't really try... I remember catching bits and pieces of, unfortunately, the 4Kids stuff back when it started airing on Toonami, and thinking it was just a silly pirate show for kids. And then I became more aware of what the whole deal with the 4Kids version of One Piece was when YouTube started and people started making comparison videos talking about what 4Kids cut out and changed and all that shit. And even though I didn't watch the show, I still watched those videos because I was getting fascinated by, what American dubs cut out for kids TV, for anime. I mean, as a Sailor Moon fan, I think you can see where that interest would come from.
Yes.
But as for watching the actual show, I watched some of it back when I was in art school in my early 20s. For context, I am 32 right now. However, because I was apprehensive about touching any dub of the show, even though the Funimation one was well underway at that point, I resorted to trying to find subs on a dodgy website, and I had undiagnosed ADHD, so I couldn't really pay attention. And so I kind of left off somewhere in Usopp's introductory arc, and honestly, I think some of the stuff I retained kind of floated out of my memory a bit. So, but I'm aware of bits and pieces about what happens later on. I at least know who joins the crew later on, and at least one major death later in the series. But other than that, I think I'm probably the newbiest here, so.
Yep, Eli and Isaac. Because I know you two have the same... Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Eli first,
Basically,
yeah.
I first heard about One Piece from I doubt anyone remembers this, but before the internet was a big thing, there was an anime magazine called Beckett Pokemon Collector.
I do remember that.
Which was this unofficial glossy magazine that you saw on store shelves. It was eventually disbanded under threat of lawsuit because it used official art of trading cards in its price guides. But before it did, it spun off into covering a lot of other franchises like Yu-Gi-Oh!, DBZ, and a general anime collector that gradually evolved into Anime and Manga Collector. But before that, the Anime Collector magazine ran a list of, according to them, the greatest anime of all time. One Piece was on there. And a few years later, I happened to run into an issue of Shonen Jump Monthly, which was my first one, and One Piece was in it. Now, this was shortly before the anime came out in America, and this became one of my first examples of just how much America can miss in the localization process. Let's put it that way. Thankfully, it's much better now, despite what some Twitter chuds will tell you, but that's what got me started on keeping up with the manga, which I still do in a way, and considering that the manga is about to be in its final arc, it's a good time to start this podcast.
Yep, Isaac.
Well, it first started with the 4Kids dub. Mostly that's how I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that. Eventually, I was able to find the anime online. I think it would have been fan subbed, of course, but then eventually I would find official subs, point is I saw them subbed, and then eventually I started reading the manga through whatever scanlations there were before eventually they went online officially,
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. Oh, I did watch a bit of the Funimation dub when it was on Toonami, but then they did, repeats on occasion. I haven't been able to really watch the series as much as I do read it. It's generally easier to read than it is to watch sometimes. Okay. But then again, more recent arcs say otherwise.
Well, I like that we have a wide variety of experiences here. And before we get into, the meat of the discussion, let's go over just the brief show format. Average episode will be, we'll do the intro, we'll talk about what's happened in our lives briefly. We'll recap the episodes, and then we have a few segments, including one that's not showing up till a certain character does. But we have Luffy moment of the week, we have most valuable pirate, and we have best/worst moment and/or line. So let's talk about some base information just to get a base. This is based on a manga by Eiichiro Oda, starting from July 22nd, 1997, and still going as of this recording. There's over 1,000 goddamn chapters and episodes. Animated by Toei, meaning we can't really use clips to demonstrate what we're talking about. Sorry, blame the broken American copyright system.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, see, I just also blame Toei, but then again, I blame Toei for quite a few things.
Yeah.
Again, Sailor Moon fan.
So Oda got inspired to make a manga about pirates from an obscure cartoon from Austria about Vikings. Okay. So for this, I wanted us to each have a specific role. Hell, I even found a role for Casey that'll be later. My role is just, host. Isaac's is comparing the manga and the anime. And having some, basically research information. Becky's is being the newcomer, relatively. And Eli's...
My role is comparing the anime, the good anime that we watched, with the 4Kids butchering up it.
Yeah, oh boy!
Yeah, again, I've seen clips from the 4Kids version, and even by the understandable limitations of broadcast standards and practices, yikes.
It's bad.
And in that regard, my research was made a lot easier thanks to a YouTuber by the name of RantNow, who basically did comparisons between both versions all the way up to when 4Kids coverage of the series ended. So he aggregated a lot of that for me, and while he did miss a few things, he later went back and changed them. So that's definitely helping in helping with this podcast.
Yeah, thankfully there is always a plethora of resources comparing dubbed to original for kids anime, especially when it comes to 4Kids anime. Hell, I have several resources on hand when I'm doing Sailor Moon Deke versus original comparisons. So
I have the fan wiki for most One Piece things, because typically speaking, whenever a fan base is large, their wiki can be pretty informative.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I have behind the voice actors because my role, as with most podcasts I do, is talking about the various voice actors and their roles, which we. Oh my God, there's so much. But first, Isaac, did you think of one?
I was thinking of the one you were telling me.
Well, I'll say it. It's time for the One Piece fun fact of the day. So as we're going to learn, our main character Luffy has rubber powers. He can stretch his body. Oda has confirmed that yes, that includes his...
Pingas!
I like that Oda's not afraid to confirm our horny headcanons.
He's like the reverse...
Rumiko Takahashi.
Yes, Rumiko. I was like, Yujiro Takahashi, that's the wrestler. Kazuki Takahashi, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! That's not right, yeah. Hiromu Takahashi, that's not right. Good.
For those who don't know, there's a famous anecdote that a fan asked... Now, admittedly, I don't have confirmation on how real this is, but...
It's funny.
It's funny either way. A fan asked... Well, actually, more background information. Rumiko Takahashi is the manga of Ranma 1/2. You know, the anime where a boy gets cursed to turn into a girl every time he gets splashed with water.
Yep.
Anyway, fan asked her, what would happen if Ranma was pregnant while in girl form and then got turned back into a boy? Takahashi said, I don't think about that, and neither should you.
Yep.
I mean, the obvious answer would be a C-section, but still.
Shall we get started?
Yeah.
Episode 1. I'm Luffy, the man who will be king of the pirates.
4Kids title. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Nice to meet you, Luffy. We open on, well, the opening, We Are by Jam Project member Hiroshi Kitadani. It's fucking perfect, frankly. There's a reason this is considered the One Piece anthem. It's one of the best openings ever fucking made. Which is why I am so fucking angry that when they decided to have an English cover for it for the Funimation dub, they got known sex pest, well, not known at the time, but known now, Vic Mignogna to sing it. Unsurprisingly, I will be muting any instance of his singing in this show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It always sucks when Vic shows up in something you like.
However, with it now being on Crunchyroll, I can just switch it to Japanese, then switch it back.
I mean, considering who's showing up in this week's random, hey.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
In the pre-song bit, we learned that this is a world where pirates are a major part of life, and one of the best pirates ever, Gold Roger, announced right before he was executed that his treasure was now up for grabs, and he left it all in 2 pieces. Shit, that's not right.
In the 4Kids dub, Eric Stewart did this opening narration, so Kaiba was the original pirate king.
That checks out.
Well, no. He would have been the narrator. Someone else was the Pirate King.
Fair.
There is one other thing about We Are that kind of starts like a running gag for the anime.
Yeah.
And continue. Okay, basically in the manga, there's a character called Panda Man. At a certain point, he starts showing up a bunch, usually like every chapter, and then they did the same thing for the manga, for the anime as well, but not as much. He shows up in this opening. Care to guess where and when? Because like there will be times where he'll be showing up, and I'll be asking this question.
Is he in the crowd at Gold Roger's execution?
No.
Is he on a pirate ship?
Getting warmer. Which one?
The one that attacks Luffy and crew.
Yes.
I don't know.
Anyone else?
I honestly couldn't find him. Sorry.
Becky?
I didn't take time to look. I'm sorry. I was busy this week.
It's right when Zoro does his big attack on the pirates surrounding him.
Oh, well, no wonder I didn't see him. I was distracted.
I'll post a picture for you in the chat. You'll know what he looks like and know for next time.
Okay.
Well,
Kinda like
Isaac is looking.
He's basically the Where's Waldo of this series. He's everywhere, and I do have facts about him too.
Okay.
Well, while Isaac does that, now of course, as we know, 4Kids pirate the pirate rap that 4Kids went with was not the first choice for their opening. They made an English version of We Are as well, which got leaked, and it sounds great. Bonus points for it not being sung by Vic.
Yeah.
To add insult to injury, the ending themes were also removed and replaced with a slightly different version of the rap.
Okay, I'll save the Pan-Man stuff when he actually starts showing up in episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll drop little tidbits every time he shows up.
Fair enough.
Okay.
After the opening, we actually open on typical ocean stuff. You know, seagulls circling, a giant fucking whirlpool, a ship ominously close to it. No biggie. So this is a ship owned by the Marines. See here, dressed as Gappy.
Hey.
Well, it's not really a marine ship, it's just a regular cruise ship.
The point is, Marines were on it. This Marine ship has everything. Fancy dress parties, mysterious orange-haired women, sailors fishing for barrels, pirates about to wreck their shit. Does anyone even remember Stefan from SNL?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have a name for the ship, right? We have a name for the cruise ship, actually. It's called the Lady Mary.
Oh, okay. We'll obviously meet the orange-haired girl later, so we'll talk about her when she has lines. God, the facial expressions in the show are incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's what drew me to Oda's art style immediately, just the incredible faces.
Yeah, even if it took me, well, a long ass time to actually try to actually make a better effort into getting into the anime, Oda's art style has always been one thing I actually kind of like about it, just because of how unique it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it can be very cartoony, but then at times it can be, like, serious looking, if that makes sense.
Look out, they're being attacked by the horrible goose.
You want to know the name of this ship?
I do.
The Miss Love Duck.
Miss Love Duck.
I would prefer the horrible goose than a ship named the Miss Love Duck.
Yep.
Of course,
Captain Tom Selleck.
Go on.
I was gonna say Captain Tom Selleck is not amused.
So this is our first villainous pirate captain, Alvida. She's played by Laurie Steele, best known as Young Krillin. In Japanese, she's played by Yoko Matsuoka, who was Bertha in Pokemon and Queen Metalia in Sailor Moon Crystal. That was surprisingly painless for once.
In the 4Kids dub, she was Kathleen Delaney, who also voiced Rouge the Bat while they were using the 4Kids cast, as well as Tanya from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. In other words, she was a furry awakening for a lot of kids.
Oh, the Amazon lady?
She did okay in the... Yeah. And she did okay in the role.
Alright,
One other thing about the voice lines, though. In general, in the early episodes of the 4Kids dub, there was a lot more stereotypical pirate talk. Like, you had pirate characters saying things like mates or me hearties. At one point when some of the other pirates say, "You scurvy dog, you ought to walk the plank for not fighting with us." Like, at a certain point, you're just trying too hard.
Yeah, I mean, even the Pirates of the Caribbean movies didn't lean that hard into it.
Yeah.
I would argue that they were trying to be closer to the source material in some aspects, but then eventually they gave up, kind of like they do with some Yu-Gi-Oh! Series.
Mm-hmm.
the pirate talk also went into the Viz translation early on in the manga? Yeah, I bet. But yeah, Alvida is berating her cabin boy, Kobe. He's played by Leah Clark, who was Marin and Launch in Dragon Ball, Milfa in Beat the Vandal Buster, Ari in School Rumble, Noel in Claymore, Sylvie Lumiere in Baccano, Fuyuki in Sergeant Frog, Blair in Soul Eater, Tenho in Oedo Rocket, Mavis Vermilion in Fairy Tail, Queen Bee in Panty and Stocking, Shino in Wolf Children, Mayu in Death Parade, Mai in Date Alive, Himiko Toga in My Hero, Kobayashi in Dragon Maid, Mio in Nichijou, and Suguru in the new Higurashi. In Japanese, he's played by Mika Doi, who was Alice in Wonderland, the Prissy Elephant in Dumbo, Wendy in Peter Pan, Wart in Sword of the Stone, Maid Marian in Robin Hood, Daisy Duck, April O'Neil, Ket's mother, I think it's supposed to be Ken's mother in Key's Delivery Service, Angel in Angel Cop, Queen Serenity in Sailor Moon, Tiffany Valentine in Chucky, and Keiko Asakura in Shaman King.
In the 4Kids dub, she was Casey Rogers, who was mostly known for Pokemon. She voiced a lot of bit characters, including Professor Ivy, Mikey, the kid with the Eevee, Madam Much Money, and several of the Pokemon, most notably Ash's Totodile, Jesse's Wobbuffet, and Ash's dad, Mr. Mime. She did an okay job, and honestly, her performance was similar to Leah Clark's. If she'd stuck around after the Funimation redub, I wouldn't have minded.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Lackey punting was rejected for the Pirate Olympics.
And yet dwarf tossing stayed.
Right? Poor Kobe, the Milhouse Van Houten of the pirate world.
For now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice quick change, lady. And she just won the Springfield Film Festival. It works on so many levels.
We now have our first major change other than the rep. 4Kids also cut out Nami kicking the guy in the balls, or at least they removed the impact frame.
Cowards!
Come on, 4Kids. Kids love crotch punches.
Right?
Not in this day and age. But then again, this is also the same company that thinks that kids don't read. That's why they take out most text.
Yeah.
I think. I also heard a rumor that they did that to make it more internationally easier to distribute it internationally, so there wouldn't be English text everywhere.
I don't know, but like.
Anyway, it's dumb.
They eased up on it over time.
Yeah. Broadcast standards change. It's weird.
Yeah.
Despite all being part of the same crew, Kobe gets extorted for his lunch money by the other pirates.
And three...
Yeah.
If I remember, 3 of them do get names later.
Is it these 3?
Should be. One is Hepoko. One is Pepako. And finally, Popoko.
Yep, that's the 3.
Yeah.
They are triplets, apparently.
Oh, fun.
And one of them I'll bring up in the future as shares a voice actor with someone else.
Strong family resemblance.
And now, for one of the best main character introductions ever, our protagonist bursts out of the mysterious barrel, punching one of the pirates in the process.
Yeah, for some reason in the 4Kids version, they redrew Luffy's mouth there, so he was smiling with his mouth closed. The edit makes his cheekbones look really weird.
And, I mean, I don't know how he slept well in that barrel, but you do you, Luffy.
Yep.
I can sleep in anything.
Yep.
I mean, he is made of rubber, so he just collapses like a puppet without strings.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like sleeping with a weighted blanket, that whole compression therapy thing.
Well, let's see this. This is our hero, Monkey D. Luffy. He's played by Colleen Clinkenbeard, who was Chisa Yukizome in Danganronpa 3, Ron Mori from Detective Conan, Riza Hawkeye and Rose Thomas in Fullmetal Alchemist, Maria in Burst Angel, Mako Sato in Initial D, the titular Beat the Vandal Buster, Izumi Ishiguro in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, Yuko Ichihara in Holic, Galatea and Hilda in Claymore, Niece Hollystone in Baccano, Lilith in Borderlands, Marie Mjolnir in Soul Eater, Kid Gohan and Android 18 in DBZ, Ritsuko Akagi in Evangelion, Urza Scarlet in Fairy Tail, Mocha Akashia in The Vampire in Rosario the Vampire, Scania in Painting and Stocking, Momoya Yorozu in My Hero, Mia in Ace Attorney, Misaki Gundo in Tomo-chan, and so many more. In Japanese, he's played by Mayumi Tanaka, who was Batmite in the 1977 Batman cartoon, Krillin and Yajirobe in Dragon Ball, Pazu in Castle in the Sky, Daniel Witwicky in the Transformers cartoon, Koenma Yu Yu Hakusho, Skippy Squirrel in Animaniacs, Rock Volnut in Mega Man Legends, Fly in Help I'm a Fish, I brought that one up just for Casey, and Babe in the Babe movies. She mostly plays Krillin and Luffy full-time now.
4Kids Luffy was Erica Schroeder, credited here as Bella Hudson. Aside from One Piece, she was known for being the first English voice of Blaze the Cat, as well as Lyserg in both adaptations of Shaman King and Akiza in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Yeah, her career has some weird crossover with the previous 2 voice actresses I mentioned. She voiced Wobbuffet in Pokemon from Season 20 onward, and took over My Valentine after Megan Hollingshead left in Season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. She also took over Tanya after her first appearance when she was voiced by Kathleen Delaney. So you would think that she'd give Luffy a decent performance, and you'd be wrong. I'm sorry, but if it's not Sanji, Luffy's performance tends to be the most reviled of all the 4Kids One Piece cast. And I know Erica Schroeder is talented. Hell, Funimation knows she's talented because she came back to voice a bit character in the Funimation dub. And to be fair, Luffy is a hard character to nail down. His Japanese voice actress's performance is very hard to replicate in English and make him endearing, but whatever direction 4Kids gave Erica Schroeder, it was wrong.
What direction?
Especially when Luffy's screaming, which he does way too much in this dub. Look, I have nothing against the actress, but this performance was not one of her better ones. Just don't harass her over it.
Would you say it's better or worse than Asta screaming?
I was thinking Asta as well.
That's a tough call, actually. Like, English or Japanese? Because I honestly think he sounds better in English.
In this instance, English, since you're comparing to Lisa.
I guess it's really hard to tell. Like, honestly, I feel bad for any voice actor who has to do a lot of screaming when they're voicing a character.
Yep.
You're basically casting from your HP at that point.
Yeah. So, Becky, what did you think of Luffy's introduction?
Oh, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's seriously so good.
It just establishes everything you need to know about his character.
Yep. He is the platonic ideal of a lovable dumbass.
Yes.
Also, he's got
basically,
good.
He's all the good parts of the shonen protagonist archetype.
Yeah. Also, he's got a stomach rivaling Goku.
Well, I mean, he is all rubber, so.
True.
Yeah.
And Goku is, like, the inspiration for Luffy.
I don't doubt it, yeah.
A lot of Dragon Ball is. I mean, Oda tends to work with...
His art style was inspired. His art style was inspired a lot by Shotaro Ishinomori. So
were you looking for Toriyama?
That's it.
Yeah.
Oda tends to work with him a lot.
Yeah, I know they've done collaborations together.
Yeah.
So.
I love how the pirates just run screaming because Luffy deflected the swords. Also, they added a pointless cartoon blang sound effect to this bit in the 4Kids dub.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, one thing you need to know about the 4Kids dub, probably even worse than the voices, they replaced all of the background music with their original tracks.
That seemed to be a common thing with a lot of kids anime dubs at the time. The Deke Sailor Moon dub did that too.
The music is so good, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard bits and pieces of the 4Kids background, like again from those videos I was talking about that compared the original to the 4Kids version. And I will say, I'm sorry, Isaac.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
No, I'll finish what I gotta say, and then I'll. Okay. I will say and again, I know I'm gonna be comparing this to how Deke handled Sailor Moon a lot, but that's just my frame of reference here. I will say Deke did a much better job with replacing the background music because their music was actually good. So. Yeah,
4Kids One Piece. There's this one infamous track that they used a lot, which sounds like really tinkly, annoying circus music, and they use it a lot in inappropriate places. Also, not to get into spoilers, but there's a scene later on that has a really good use of a choir singing Ave Maria. They cut that out.
Oh, fuck off! That's public domain, 4Kids.
Which leads to a thing, like, I thought maybe a lot of it was just a rights issue, like they couldn't use the music for whatever reason.
Maybe.
I thought another reason they did it was probably just because with how much they were cutting and rearranging stuff, they couldn't have the original background music uncut. But then again, I know that's probably not entirely true because, again, sorry I'm bringing up Sailor Moon dub changes. Again, this is my frame of reference.
Yeah, you're good.
Shit. But I know that when Cloverway took over for the Sailor Moon dub, as bad as their scripts and their script changes were, they did keep the original background music. And I know they edited some shit around, so what the fuck is 4Kids' excuse?
I'm not acting like 4Kids is the only company that has done this either. like even Funimation and some of the early dubs of the DBZ movies, there were edits of like actual pop music and actual pop and metal music in the soundtrack, which some people might have a fondness for, but I'm just saying if you want an experience that's identical to the original, and you're bitching on Twitter about localization now, you have no idea how good you have it.
You kids today are fucking spoiled.
Yep.
Yep.
Also, on the scale of bad to good music replacement, where are we putting the Digimon movie? Putting in ska music?
I like ska, so.
Like actually licensed ska tunes.
True. I have no idea. Let's see. Where was I? Kobe trying in vain to hold back this twink. Nothing keeps Luffy from food, Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe with helpful exposition. He got kidnapped by Alvida's crew 2 years ago and is serving as their cabin boy to survive. He doesn't look like Chris Elliott, though.
I got a couple notes. First off, Luffy and... whoop.
One other thing, they cut out the eye catches in the 4Kids dub, because those aren't really a thing in America.
Yeah, they did that a lot with kids' anime dubs back in the day, so... but yeah, I got a couple notes. Luffy, when the pirates ask who Luffy is, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, who the hell are you? And also Kobe be like, I'm not even supposed to be here today for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
You're a moron and a coward. I hate people like you. Said with the biggest smile and laugh. I love Luffy.
Okay. They did do a brief... Also, you know you're stupid when Luffy calls you stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another pointless edit from 4Kids. They re-edited the Marines to the Navy, which would force them to change the English Marine text everywhere. And if you're saying they did that to be more international, well, that's some English text that they had to put in themselves.
Also,
Yeah,
maybe they just... Good.
Even this was something in the Viz manga too, but still.
Here's my theory.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just do changes to make it more theirs, and not in a good way. It's like it doesn't belong to us, so it sucks.
On the subject of the actual series, though, the pirates are because Luffy deflected their attacks. They're like running scared, thinking that Luffy might be a bounty hunter, and the idea of Luffy being a bounty hunter is really funny.
Yep.
Island pirates for meat.
I would love it if that Iron Club of Alvida's is just like styrofoam and her power was all intimidation.
Before that, in the 4Kids dub, when Luffy hits Kobe, they edited it so he didn't hit him. He just acts. For some reason, they cut there, but they still have Luffy winding up like he just hit him. But then he goes, "I wasn't going to hit you." Like, Luffy is kind of gaslighting Kobe into following his dreams, but that goes beyond what he was doing in the original.
Can't have child abuse, even though Kobe is 16 at this point.
Yeah.
It's got that Yugi height.
Yeah, and when Kobe finally insults Alvida, we get the historic first use of the comedic noise. I don't know how else to describe it. I can't make the sound myself, but you know it when you hear it. It's the sound you hear when somebody in One Piece does something really stupid.
Yeah. So according to Casey and Tifa, one of the eye-catch jingles in this era of One Piece is a big on TikTok, so that's neat. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates. I think he mentioned that.
Yeah.
Kobe's goal is to join the Marines. Naturally, they'll be close friends.
It'll be a friendly rivalry.
I just thought of another comment I was trying to make. Maybe they changed it from Marines to Navy because 4Kids was afraid of getting their asses kicked by actual U.S. Marines.
But not the Navy?
I mean...
Not the Navy!
A fictional show. Why would it matter?
Because they're really, really stupid sometimes.
Maybe they thought the Navy was wimpy because they saw the music video for In the Navy once.
Yeah, why'd you hit me? Because I felt like it. And then, I do this as I want to. I decided long ago that I'm going to be king of the pirates. Yeah, if I have to die fighting for that, then I die. Alvida, I heard you talking shit, Luffy. Or Kobe.
Yeah. Also, in the dub, she weirdly suddenly gained a British accent when she showed up here.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Luffy with the dumbest thing possible.
Yeah.
That being just looking at her and going, "Who's the fat lady?"
That's where they do the bump.
Yep. The Zoro guy, huh? Okay. So we see that Luffy here is a great brawler, very agile, and oh shit, his arm just stretched like 30 feet.
Yeah. The 4Kids dub also cut out the scene where Luffy punched one of Alvida's pirates in the face when he was jumping up.
Yep. So yes, Luffy has the power to stretch his body like rubber, making him like Mr. Fantastic, except actually likable.
And more useful, really.
Yep. You're a rummer man? What the hell?
Japanese,
Good.
What'd you say?
You.
You first.
You're a rummer man? What the hell is a rummer?
So you're made of rubber? How did that happen? Oh,
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I ain't gonna
don't
fucking say it. You kidding me?
Also, devil fruits were renamed to cursed fruit in the 4Kids dub, which honestly feels like a lateral move to me. That one's not as bad.
Who cursed them? The devil.
No, they say they were cursed by the sea gods.
I mean, yeah, 4Kid, again, many kids anime dubs at the time were very averse to showing religion in any aspect. Like, look how many well, we'll probably talk about this later too, in the same episode, in the same set of episodes, but look at how many crucifixes got turned into big poles and stuff.
Yep.
Hell, when they're talking about the devil fruits, they show them in a cross shape for some reason. I guess for irony.
Japan thinks crosses are cool.
10 crew members, aim high, Luffy.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
I love how he's like, yeah, 10, that sounds good.
Meanwhile, Alvida's coming at him with a whole ass suite. Although, it's quality over quantity.
Get her ass, Kobe! Just
Yeah.
I'm gonna die!
calling her the ugliest thing on the seas.
I'm in danger.
Luffy laughing his ass off. God, I love it.
Yeah.
And thus we get Luffy immunity number 1, bludgeoning damage.
He's made of rubber.
Yep.
Not gonna work.
I mean, I saw the Spice Girl fight in JoJo. I know soft stuff is pretty damn resilient.
Yep.
Just don't get him wet.
And so we get the Gum Gum pistol, which once it hits and Alvida goes flying, I'm just thinking, game.
Yeah. Also,
then,
you know how Luffy's attacks are weapon names in the original? Well, the 4Kids dub renamed all of them so they weren't explicitly referring to weapons, but still sort of doing it. For example, Gum Gum Pistol was Gum Gum Blast.
Okay. What was the rocket?
Support? Sorry.
That's good. What was the rocket?
Rocket wasn't changed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so kids are gonna start shooting their classmates just because they heard the word pistol? 4Kids? Is that your logic here?
It's this country.
Also, poor Popolko got blasted off the ship, was just relaxing in the water, and then suddenly, boom, Alvida lands on him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He drowned. Would you look at that, Kobe? It's the police.
The policeman.
The policeman. Look out, lady! Hang on to your treasure.
Yeah. I do
Hey,
like
Kobe,
this bit where
hey, Kobe, I smell bacon. Sorry.
I do like this bit where Nami gets a glimpse of Luffy, but they don't quite meet for the first time yet.
Yeah. Let's see.
Maybe Toei thought they were going to be together before realizing, nope.
No, hell no. And then we hear about Zoro, quote, "He's as violent as a demon and 3 times as horrifying."
I love how Luffy's logic is, this guy hunts people like me, so of course he'll join my crew.
You know. And so Luffy and Kobe head off to the nearest Marine base, so Luffy can recruit this Zoro guy, and Kobe can join the Marines. By the way, that guitar riff when Zoro lifted up his head was sick as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this first episode before we, talk about how it was?
I thought this was a good, solid begin. I'm already getting to my thoughts. Never mind.
It seems like we don't have anything else, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I thought this was a good, solid opener, good establishment of Luffy's character and how this hang on.
You're good.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's good at establishing Luffy's character, why we're following him, what his goals are, and giving us a taste of what this world is like. So I've got nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah.
Same. It's also good considering that this is meant to deviate from how the manga starts, which we'll bring up in episode 4.
Yep. This is a fantastic first episode. You instantly get Luffy and why he's like this, and they set up some interesting future plot points really well.
I don't have much to say beyond that, honestly.
Fair enough, Isaac.
I just said it.
Okay. Then we'll go to episode 2. Enter the Great Swordsman, Pirate Hunter Roronoa Zoro.
4Kids title, Roronoa Zoro, Pirate Hunter.
Oh,
And, okay, let's address the L in the room. Originally, 4Kids changed the name of Zoro to Zolo in order to avoid possible copyright infringement with Zoro with 2 R's. Technically, they have the same sound in Japanese, and Viz Media even used Zolo as the official translation when the manga was being localized.
Still do.
At least for a while.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Since the copyrights of the Curse of Capistrano and the Mark of Zoro lapsed in 1995 or before, the character Zoro has been in the public domain.
So there was never a copyright to worry
No,
about.
I just wanted to be.
Shits.
In my opinion, they just wanted to be racist. Because yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Changing it to Zolo is just straight up racist.
I mean, they have similar sounds in Japanese, so I don't really.
Fair enough. It feels racist, you know.
I guess. I mean, I still call him Zoro, but
Yeah, because he's Zoro.
Yeah. And honestly, I think he's a distinct enough character that you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. We open on Luffy and Kobe still at sea. Turns out Kobe's actually really good at navigation and a rarity for this batch of episodes. Also, I neglected to say my title joke. Enter the Great Swordsman, Pirate Hunter Roronoa Zoro. Oh, I know. Believe me, I know several people who want to. But yeah, from this description, Zoro sounds awesome. And Kobe is a great but unintentional hype man.
I like how Luffy's so impressed that a boat can stay on course.
Luffy and Kobe touch down to the pirate base, and asking either about Zoro or the Marine captain is akin to asking to see Frau Blucher. Yeah. Captain Morgan, huh? I bet he likes vodka.
I do like the guy. I do like the guy climbing up the pole when Luffy mentions Zoro.
By the way, can we talk about this really good orchestral we are?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really pisses me off that they cut that shit out of the fucking 4Kids version.
Speaking of 4Kids, for some reason 4Kids did not change Captain Morgan's name, but felt the need to change Ace's name because apparently that's the name of an obscure alcoholic drink.
Why do they do anything?
I think we now have a good idea of what the 4Kids staff was drinking.
Yep. Like, it would have made more sense to say it's a gambling reference.
Yeah. The ace of spades. The trace of spades.
Oh, God. I love how Luffy just laughs off the strangeness of the situation.
Yeah.
Quote, maybe they were all just jumping around for the fun of it.
Maybe they wanted to jump up, and get down.
Well, you can't mistake the Marine base for anything else, I suppose.
Yeah.
That giant gate that just says Marine.
Yeah.
Now, where's this demon? Said the average Helltaker player.
So, here we see Zoro tied up on a crossbar of wood. Obviously, because religious imagery, 4Kids censored out the top bar. Which is really funny because Zoro's an atheist, as we'll learn later.
But yeah, he's been there for like 3 weeks. Those pants must be at like hideous sun demon or Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny levels of soaked.
Ugh.
Right? Luffy's optimism is fantastic. So is Kobe's comedic pessimism.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get this fucking done. Now that he's spoken, let's talk voice for Zoro. Let's start with the Japanese first so I can ease into the big one. In Japanese, Zoro is played by Kazuya Nakai, who was Mondo Owada in Danganronpa, Waka in Final Fantasy, Jan Valentine in Hellsing, Mugen in Samurai Champloo, Gaomon in Digimon, Toshiro Hachikata in Gintama, Shisuke Domeki in Holic, Shinjiro Arakagi in Persona 3, young Jonathan Joestar in the Phantom Blood fighting game, Furido in Naruto, Gangstalicious in the Boondocks, Travis Touchdown in No More Heroes, Ginjiro Maruoka in Durarara, Ryuji Suguro in Blue Exorcist, Dolph in Space Dandy, Takashi in Death Parade, Fleck Turn in My Hero, Zap Renfro in Kekai Sensen, Gilgamesh in Dissidia, Date Masamune in Sengoku Basara, and Bruno in Encanto. Please don't say it.
Also, I will say it's
we shouldn't talk about him.
Damn it!
I will say it's appropriate that Zoro and Mondo share a voice actor because, well, they both apparently have the largest chests of their respective casts.
Yep. Alright, here we go. In English, Zoro is played by Christopher Sabat, who... His 800 roles include Vegeta and Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z, Armstrong in FMA, All Might in My Hero, Kuwabara in Yu Yu Hakusho, Jigen in Lupin III, Mr. Meatenstein in Explosion Man, Giroro in Sergeant Frog, Tenbei Mimakasa in Oda Rocket, Garland in Dissidia, Garterbelt in Panty and Stocking, Bato in Ghost in the Shell, Albert Ende in Devil's a Part-Timer, Mondo in the Danganronpa anime, Vaccine Man in One Punch Man, Dusel in Fire Emblem, Inferno Cop in Space Patrol Lucolo, Souther in Fist of the North Star, and of course, Mr. Munch from Chuck E. Cheese. And so many I had to leave out for time.
And, in the 4Kids dub, Zoro is one of the few people who got away with a really decent voice actor. Mark Derison, who was also the voice of Guts in Berserk.
And George Joestar.
Chris Sabat does a great job in the Funimation dub, but Mark Derison made a decent Zoro despite the shitty script he had to work with. And of course he did give us the infamous Luffy! I'm just gonna say, my man put his entire heart and soul into that scream.
Yeah. She's too naive for this cruel world. I do love Zoro's line of, "Don't make me kick your ass, little girl."
Yeah.
With what free foot, Zoro?
His legs aren't tied up.
Oh,
I don't think. I think they just tied up his arms and stomach.
Okay. I might have been a bit distracted.
Fair. I could be wrong as well. Here comes the son of the Marine captain, Helmeppo, played by Troy Baker. But given he only played Helmeppo for these 2 episodes, and
wait, before that, the little girl gives Zoro rice balls.
Oh God!
Oh yeah.
Which of course, Rika,
yeah.
Of course, 4Kids badly Photoshop cookies over them. Which is even funnier, given that, as we'll learn later, one of Zoro's attacks is actually called Onigiri. Granted, with the kanji they spell that with, it means demon slash. But
they didn't
they do make a pun with the rice balls later.
They didn't even do what they did back in the Pokemon dubbing days and just called them something else.
It's a sandwich. It's a donut.
It's a giant
He
sandwich.
gets the rice on his face!
And although admittedly, maybe calling a rice ball a jelly donut wasn't a great idea either, because as a kid, that gave me the idea that gave me the impression that what I would later learn were onigiri were just Japanese animators' lazy shorthand for various food items.
Oh, it was in reverse.
Yeah, Helmeppo, Troy Baker only plays him for these 2 episodes, and the character shows up later, so I'll wait until Troy shows up again to talk about him. He's Troy fucking Baker. I'm sure it's going to happen again.
I will say, though, in 4Kids, well, I can't say I'm surprised to see you here, Sean Schemmel, given that you were a mainstay in GX, as Millennium Microphone can attest.
Oh, yes.
Still, it's pretty funny to hear him almost sounding like James in this dub.
But yeah, in Japanese, he's played by Koichi Nagano, who was Dr. Hikari in Mega Man NT Warrior. Helmeppo is scum.
Yeah. Also, again, back with the English text thing. So for some reason, 4Kids just absolutely hate showing text in their shows, especially if it's in English. So if there is text, just imagine that it's edited out or not there at all, in the case of the note that Helmeppo holds up.
Yep. Oh, Kobe, you naive idiot. Honestly, rice balls with sugar don't sound too bad. Maybe that's just because it's Helmeppo objecting to him, and I automatically disagree with anything Helmeppo says.
Yeah. Also, he had him pull a trench bowl with Rika.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They throw her over the wall.
Yeah. It's time for the offshoot of lackey tossing, child tossing, and Luffy with the excellent catch. But yeah, apparently, anyone who assists any criminal gets executed. Frankly, I'm amazed they even have a prison at all. Kobe's whole worldview is shattered yet again.
Marines can be bad guys? Who would have guessed?
Next, you'll be telling me the police have agendas.
I didn't think that if you gave people the power... I didn't think that if you gave people the power to determine who lives and who dies and who gets arrested, that there would be people who'd abuse it.
That's impossible.
Yep. Again, the people who don't think One Piece is left-leaning are idiots.
Again, when we get to Ennius Lobby.
Oh boy. Zoro with some huge Knuckles energy, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's so desperate for food, he's eating a rice ball that's mostly dirt. And he ate it with gratitude.
Well, I mean, he's doing it partially because he wants to acknowledge acknowledge Rika's gesture.
Yeah.
Although it was also like, the dirt gives it texture.
Also starvation.
You're supposed to get minerals in your diet, right?
He ate every last grain of rice there was. 4Kids probably had a conniption. So it turns out Zoro's in jail for saving that little girl from Helmeppo's beautiful pet doggy, quote, which is just a fucking untamed wolf. Oh, and he also punched Helmeppo in the fucking face, though he had it coming.
And the wolf.
Yeah, again.
The one case. This is
In
the
the
one
manga,
case
he
where
kills
animal.
the wolf. In the manga, he kills the wolf. In the anime, he just knacks it out.
This is the one. Yeah, this is the one case where animal abuse is okay.
Townsfolk are like, get your fucking dog, bitch! He don't bite.
Don't bite!
And Helmeppo literally with the, my father will hear about this.
Hey, Draco.
Right. Do you know who my father is?
Yes, he's also an asshole.
Yeah. One Piece is not a super violent show, but it's not a young kid show either. So, in the Zoro flashback, 4Kids edited out the moment where Zoro punches Helmeppo, as well as the bruise on his cheek when he does.
Did they edit out hitting the dog?
No.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, so it's okay to encourage kids to punch dogs for kids?
Oh my god!
Hit people,
Also-
but you can hit dogs.
Also, when Zoro was holding up his sword to Helmeppo's neck, they redrew it so the sword was further away.
That's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, Zoro's punishment, he'll stay crucified for a month, and if he survives, he'll be free to go. Naturally, Helmeppo never had any chance of honoring that. Like, never any inclination in his mind whatsoever. Oh, and speaking
Okay.
of... Good.
Did you mention that Nami was in the bar here?
I was about to.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of, in walks Helmeppo, acting like a Roadhouse-level shitty bar patron. And alright, she's shit up enough, let's talk about her. So this orange-haired girl is Nami, and she's going to be a main character. Now, before we get into voice actor stuff, a brief aside. Because I'm autistic and kind of feel embarrassed of how I was weird as a child, I don't remember a lot of it. This extends to, the childhood trope of fictional crushes. Nami's the one exception. I remember that one vividly. And also, for anyone worried, she is in fact 18 here, and obviously is only going to get older as the series goes on. Now then, voices. She's played by Lucy Christian, who is Kaname Chidori in Fullmetal Panic. Go ahead.
I don't. Oh wait, no. I did look up her voice actress, but I didn't put it down until later.
Okay. But yeah, Lucy Christian, who was Kaname Chidori in Fullmetal Panic, Yukari in Azumanga Daioh, Luna in Gravion, Wrath in Fullmetal Alchemist, the titular Princess Tutu, Misono in Ghost Stories, Kosuna in Desert Punk, Mako in Nerima Daikon Brothers, Paula in Beat the Vandalbuster, January in Coyote Ragtime Show, Tenma in School Rumble, Cosmos in Xenosaga, Trish in the Devil May Cry anime, Honey in Oron, Medusa in Soul Eater, Nagisa in Clanad, Meryl in Trigun Badlands Rumble, Elsie in The World God Only Knows, Aloha Trancy in Black Butler, Minori in Log Horizon, Jinpei in Gatchaman, Uraraka and Recovery Girl in My Hero, Sato in Danganronpa 3, Aki in New Game, Chihaya Ayase in Chihaya Furu, Tomo's mom in Tomo-chan, and many, many more. This series has a lot of prolific voice talent in it. In Japanese, Nami is voiced by Akemi Okamura, who was Fievel Mouskowitz in American Tail, Fio in Porco Rosso, Spiral in X-Men, Anko in GTO, Shauna in The Legend of Dragoon, Cindy in Jimmy Neutron, Kessie in The Book of Pooh, Saturn in Pokemon, Barbara in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Mayaya in Princess Jellyfish, and Akemi in Erased.
Her 4Kids voice actress was Carrie Williams, who was Casey from Pokemon, the girl who was obsessed with baseball because Casey baseball.
Oh, God.
As well as Domino in the Mewtwo Return special, and Jirachi from Jirachi Wishmaker. She was also Flora in Winx Club, and most importantly, she was also Becky's favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Character, Rebecca Hawkins.
Change your fucking name, bitch!
Aside from traumatizing Becky, she honestly didn't do a bad job in the role. If she stayed voicing Nami, I wouldn't mind it.
Sorry, what'd you say? I couldn't hear it.
I was just laughing at aside from traumatizing Becky.
Although that would have...
Good.
Well, I was going to say, if she stayed voicing Nami, I wouldn't mind it. Although that would have its own problems if 4Kids stuck around after Nami got her big design change, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Hey, you ever see an anime character get a breast reduction surgery?
Yeah, yes, once. Helmeppo's a giant douche.
God.
Like, I called him a bar patron earlier. He doesn't actually intend to pay.
Yeah.
And he just wants to execute Zoro for fun. Luffy responds,
one
good.
thing. Speaking of Nami, 4Kids also cut out that panning shot of her when she first shows up because God forbid that kids know legs exist.
Oh, come on.
Mommy, what are these things up below my waist?
They're called God Hoppers, son. Oh.
Mommy, your voice is deep.
I know. Yeah, Luffy responds to Helmeppo by decking him in the face and calling him scum. Fuck yeah. And Luffy's made up his mind. He's gonna get Zoro to join his crew. Too bad Zoro's tied up at the moment.
Also, 4Kids removed any alcohol references, so Helmeppo is shown drinking juice instead of wine, even changing the color to orange.
Listen.
Which is not the funniest change this brought on, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Listen, I know we have a long way to go, and I'm aware of the fact that 4Kids acquired the rights to One Piece in a package deal. Why didn't you try and auction them off, for fuck's sake? This is clearly not a show you can do!
Sunk cost fallacy?
But they wanted the merch!
I feel like... You ever seen that clip of Arrested Development? It's Tobias and his wife talking about how open marriages never work, and like because he's a psychiatrist, but it could work for us.
Oh, he can't.
But what if it worked for us? And here's the captain of the Marine base, Axe Hand Morgan. He's played by Brett Weaver, who was Jonathan in Gunsmith Cats, Akira in New Cutie Honey, Tora in Ushio and Tora, Jiro Yamato from Martian Successor Nadesco, Andy in Full Metal Panic, Vodka in Jin King of Bandits. Yep. Vodka in Jin King of Bandits, and of course, motherfucking Nabishin. In Japanese, it's Banjo Ginga, who was Southern Fist of the North Star, Cyborg 005, Giren Zabi in Gundam, Colonel Silver in Dragon Ball, Jigen in Lupin III, King Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, Don Carleone in Crying Freeman, that one alien who could see the future in the Bon Bardock movie.
I can see the future!
Shampoo's dad in Ranma, Killer Croc in Batman Animated, Tongpu in Cowboy Bebop, Astaroth in Soul Calibur, Liquid Snake, Zeus in Hercules, Clayton in Tarzan, Dr. Sweet in Atlantis, Captain Blue in Beautiful Joe, King Neptune in the SpongeBob movie, Babbo and Mar, Ultramax in Transformers Animated, Daniel J. Darby in Eyes of Heaven, and Reeve in Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know, I think Morgan may be a tad vain.
His 4Kids voice was J. David Brimmer, who was also the voice of Odeon in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Makoto Yamamoto in Irresponsible Captain Tyler, which we'll get to eventually, Crusher Wake in the Pokemon anime, another more major One Piece character we'll get to later, and of course the role he's most known for, Mr. Polaris from the Video Brinkado movie, The Little Panda Fighter.
Oh, of course.
which I only know because I reviewed that piece of shit years ago.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, a lot of 4Kids actors ended up over there too.
It's the New York voice acting
A
scene.
paycheck's a paycheck, let's be honest. We see Zoro flashback to training as a child with some blue-haired girl. I wonder what that's about.
Oh,
For
sorry,
that, in response to Morgan's vanity, he's basically the chief of police in a boondock town. And speaking of Morgan, his cigar was removed in the 4Kids dub, which, again, not the funniest change that happened.
Do you know how much fucking work they're gonna have to do when we get to Smoker?
Yes.
That is what I was referring to.
Becky, there's a character literally named Smoker!
Oh, I've heard. And I will say regarding the... Oh, go ahead.
He smokes 2 packs a day, and he's got cigars just coming out of his mouth like tentacles in every scene he's in. And they had to redraw that.
They can't redraw the sky though.
Why even fucking bother?
I also forgot to add with my comment about the New York voice acting scene. That's also why you see a lot of 4Kids voice actors show up in old Central Park Media dubs.
Oh yeah.
Again, they're drawing from the same talent pools. Which is why it's hard for me to watch the Revolutionary Girl Utena dub because I'm not used to Misty voicing Utena.
Fair enough.
Well, okay, it's one of several reasons, but still.
Yeah. Luffy and Zoro's discussion... Good.
Probably also explains why Dan Green was doing porn for a while.
Look, paycheck's a paycheck.
Yeah.
Luffy and Zoro's discussion about Zoro joining the crew is both hilarious and really solidifies both characters' personalities. Zoro is stubborn and determined, but he can't talk Luffy out of the dumb shit he does. What does it say about Luffy, or rather about Zoro, that he thought Helmeppo would be genuine for even an instant?
He expected other people to have honor.
Yeah. When you're getting directions from Zoro, that's a problem.
Yeah. Luffy just casually taking the captain's son hostage and using him as a meat shield.
Oh, it was so funny, but I have a bit more before we get there. Yes, Morgan with the statue referencing that famous Brazilian statue, Tipos del Rentador.
I wouldn't go so for dignified a reference for Captain Morgan. I compare him to Christ of the Ozarks.
Fair enough.
Also, Captain Morgan wants a hug.
Morgan wants a hug!
But sadly, I think we know the source of his issues. He can't hug anyone because he has no hand.
I have no hand and I must hug.
I normally feel bad for Helmeppo, but he's Helmeppo. That shit ain't happening.
Yeah.
And well, that dude's dead. All right, time to get my statue up and raised. Lieutenant Bean, pull the statue up. Thanks for knocking that ugly shit down, Luffy. And, oh god, Helmeppo screaming like an idiot as Luffy runs around with him is hilarious.
Yeah. Just dragging him like a sack of potatoes.
So funny. I'm surrounded by traitors. You don't know what that word means, do you? Yeah, Troy's Helmeppo voice kind of sounds like Kevin McDonald at times. Holy shit, Kobe untying Zoro. And yeah, no shit, Helmeppo lied.
Yeah.
Helmeppo's room is exactly what you'd expect.
Also, of course, because 4Kids was aiming this show at kids, they had to edit as much as possible around firearms. So when Zoro's about to get executed, the Navy's guns are edited to look more like squirt guns.
At a certain point,
what they're going to do to him.
At a certain point, this has to be costing you more money than it could possibly make you.
Wait, it just hit me what reference I can make for Zoro being surprised that Helmeppo didn't keep his word. Really think someone would do that? Take a position of authority and tell lies?
See, I was going to go with, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Yeah.
About that guy that you mentioned. The Marine who just got killed.
Yeah.
His name is Rakaku, and he's actually still alive.
I mean, I figured. I was mainly joking.
I mean, like, they didn't, since the original series didn't really clarify it until, like, the manga did years later, it was like, both Viz and Funimation just thought he died.
Thought you were dead. Nope.
I was.
I did, but I lived.
You know, honestly, if you were going to execute a Devil Fruit user, you could probably use the squirt gun method, but Zoro's just a human, so...
Yep. Where was I? Yeah, Morgan is just straight up delusional.
Yeah.
Like, thinking that Kobe and Zoro, while Zoro is tied the fuck up on a cross, is planning a coup? What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, he was gonna kill a small child.
Yep.
What is this? Some kind of poorly executed coup? The Russian government be like.
My next note is fittingly, well, shit. Oh yeah, Luffy's bulletproof. That's Luffy immunity number 2. Hell yeah. Any other thoughts before we talk about... Yeah.
They obviously cut out one major flashback thing that'll be in a few arcs.
Yeah. We don't get more of Zoro's backstory for a bit, but it's not too long.
So what do we think of this episode?
Again.
It's
Good.
It's really good. I love Zoro, and him being the straight man to Luffy's antics is really funny.
Yeah, it's a good establishment to a future dynamic.
Oh yeah, I like Zoro already for many reasons, as I'll clarify later.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you first.
But yeah, this was good at again, good establishing character moments for Zoro here. Really fucking satisfying to see Helmeppo getting the shit beat out of him. And also good at establishing just how fucking corrupt shit is in the Marines right now.
Yep.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff going on with the Marines that show, like, the gray morality stuff that goes on, but we're gonna see a lot of corruption with them and how it affects them.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, my thoughts on this episode was just another great episode. Zoro rules.
Yeah.
He hasn't even done anything yet.
Yeah. Well, that'll change.
That's why I'm saving more of my thoughts for later.
Yep. That'll change in episode 3. Morgan versus Luffy. Who's the mysterious pretty girl? Boy, do I not trust that name episode. Oh, wait, it's referring to Nami? Concern withdrawn.
Episode 3. 4Kids title. Unlikely pair. The pirate and the pirate hunter. Just not even gonna mention Nami at all? Okay.
I mean, she doesn't really play much of anything besides go up to the next arc.
That's fair, but I did like the meta joke where even the anime is like, who the fuck is she?
Yeah. You open on, oh right, Luffy keeping Zoro from being executed by a firing squad. King of the Pirates means King of the Pirates! His math checks out.
You must be completely out of your rubbery mind.
That was good, yeah.
And of course the great line from Zoro, what are you, the son of the devil?
I wrote that down too, it's such a good line.
Yeah.
Morgan, you're not ordinary by any means.
Yeah. And of course Luffy frees him. And I love that shot where Zoro blocks all of the marine swords. That's
so good! Yeah, Zoro uses the Satoryu, literally translated as 3 swords, so San Toryu.
One in each hand and one in his mouth.
One gripped in his fucking mouth, holy fuck, he is so cool!
Yeah.
Okay, so, those who follow our other podcasts, Random A, and any of the streams that I've been on, know I have a thing about women with swords, but also, I should remind everyone that thing is not gender exclusive.
Yep.
I also have a thing for big tits.
Yeah.
And, so, I think you know why I like Zoro already.
Oh yeah! One of the same reasons I like Nami.
Yeah.
And Zoro, frankly.
Yeah.
This podcast is nothing but non-straight people.
Yeah.
Luffy just cut the damn ropes. I like
how their goals do.
Good.
I was gonna say I like how their goals do align pretty well, actually. Like, there's no reason Luffy's goal would interfere with Zoro's.
I have a question. In the 4Kids
Yeah.
did they change the fruits being in the shape of a cross?
Pretty
Didn't
sure
cut-
they did, yeah.
I thought they cut that out, you mentioned.
They did, but basically it was a crappy edit to remove the bit where they're in the shape of a cross. They just like cut out the top one or something.
Just make him a square!
Yeah.
That requires more effort. We're not paying them enough to do it.
Why did you do it at all? God!
If I went back in time to be a 4Kids editor and I was tasked with changing the shape of the devil fruit cross, I'd probably change it into loss.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, I guess you aren't ready for that, but your kids are gonna love it.
I had to look up. I had to know how many One Piece episodes there are of 4Kids. Want to take a guess?
173, I think.
40.
I
What
think
Eli said.
104.
Oh, okay. Not as much as I thought, but still.
Because
They would either merge episodes or cut out most of the
yeah,
filler.
do you know how fucking confusing this shit's gonna get?
Yeah.
Because they get to the end of Alabasta, which is like episode 130 something.
Yeah.
Because they cut episodes so much that they fucking merge them.
They cut out whole arcs. They removed Laboon. They removed Little Garden.
How do you remove the moon?
And that's one of the key arcs, given what happens is way later.
Oh my god!
Do you understand?
Good.
Hey, Rosen,
We'll get-
do you... Good.
We'll get to that when we get to it. It's rough. Trust me.
Hey, Rosen, do you understand my frustration with Deke episodes?
This is why I've understand since episode 1! We're 3 episodes into this. Anyway. Kobe just popping out from behind Zoro's cross to shriek.
Yeah. I love how right now, immediately, as soon as they're a crew, Zoro knows exactly what Luffy's going to do and takes his order to duck immediately.
Yep. Ooh, new attack, the Gum Gum Whip.
I don't think that one was changed either.
Yep.
Oh, so it's
Basically,
okay for... Good.
Basically, if it's a gun name, it was changed.
So 4Kids is okay with kids getting a hold of rockets and whips, but not guns. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, whip isn't
Or
necessarily limited
no,
to just a whip.
later we'll get Gum Gum Axe, and that was changed to Gum Gum Stamp.
Make it stomp?
Stamp.
It means the same thing. And I'm Luffy. Nice to meet you.
I wrote that. That's up there with Reagan going, feel free to Google me. I am Marine Captain... Good.
And feel free to quote me. We'll get to that later.
I am Marine Captain Axehand Morgan. Well, aren't you glad you're you? Yes, I just quoted a terrible 1980s Olympic volleyball movie. What of it? Yeah, unsurprisingly, this fight is really good. Too bad Helmeppo is a cheating bastard and takes Kobe as a hostage. Let's get into this fucking change.
Here we go. Everybody knows this one.
Everyone knows about the Helmeppo hammer gun. Yes, for some reason in this shot, when Helmeppo is threatening Kobe's life, they replace his pistol with what looks to be a hammer version of those boxing glove on a spring toys.
And a badly made one.
Yeah.
I just want to know. Okay.
And I think he's like, I think he says something in the 4Kids dub. He says something like, "I'll knock his block off."
I'll bop him one!
I thought it was, "I'll pound his head flatter than a pancake."
All terrible lines, by the way.
I just want to know if any cosplay prop makers had ever tried to make that thing.
I googled it, I couldn't find it.
Cowards!
I could tweet it or something, I don't know. I love how Luffy and Zoro, despite this being their first team up, instantly knew how to silently do combo moves.
Yeah.
So Luffy clocks Helmeppo and Zoro takes out Morgan. Our heroes win the day. Huzzah! There's still 10 minutes left. Huh?
Rosen?
Yep.
This is a dub change that outright infuriated me.
Oh dear.
When Zoro cuts Morgan down, you can see not blood, but fragments of his shirt flying off. For some reason, 4Kids even thought that was too violent, so they removed them.
Come on!
I don't remember seeing blood in the Funimation.
We didn't! That's what we're saying!
There was no blood. It was just fragments from where Morgan's shirt got
That was
cut,
scraps of fabric!
Which was apparently too violent to show kids.
Kids, don't cut up your shirts.
Oh God!
Kids just don't get cut.
Kids don't touch
Good.
Kids don't touch any sharp object.
Kids don't touch anything! Just, you know what, kids just don't exist!
Millennials be like.
Reverse Shinzo Abe be like. That's the right phrase.
When you go to the OBGYN and your credit card gets declined.
God damn it, I'm getting the hiccups now.
The Marines shockingly celebrate. Turns out they all hated Morgan's tyrannical reign and finally feel a sense of relief. Again, totally not political, you guys. Come on. What are you talking about? Totally.
Yeah.
Totally not left-leaning at all. Just, people are so stupid. Oh yeah, Zoro hasn't eaten in 3 weeks, and yet Luffy still out-eats him.
I guess when you're a rubber guy like Luffy, gastric balloon takes a whole different meaning.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nami breaks into the Marine base and finds what should be a map of the Grand Line. Only some clown beater to it. Buggy the Immortal, huh? Sounds intimidating.
And then, oh, you poor bastard, assuming Luffy has a plan.
Yeah. After the fight, our heroes get some much-deserved food. A lot of it. And again, Luffy out-eats the literal starving man. Suddenly, Zoro realized what he signed up for, that being Luffy's literal first mate. Oh, and the very tiny dinghy.
Yeah. It can stretch. Oh, you were talking about the boat.
We talked about that earlier! So Kobe explains the geography of the Grand Line. Shit sounds rough.
Yeah. The world building is incredible, especially for a world of piracy. Although apparently 4Kids didn't see it that way, because in this shot of the map, they removed the arrow showing the red line in the original.
Why?
Along with most of the text from the map.
It's a red line!
Red line scary.
Red line pointing to the red line?
No, they removed the arrow going up it. But
why?
Wait, I have a conspiracy theory.
Oh Lord.
The arrow is pointy. Kids don't like pointy things. Remember, that's why they changed Janine's glasses in the real Ghostbusters.
4Kids is run by Happy Fun Ball. That's our raid phrase.
No, yeah, guys.
Yeah.
I figured it out. The person behind 4Kids was Flappy Bob.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. The pirate graveyard, huh? You think that'd just be the ocean? I love Luffy's attitude towards friendships. Oh, right, the Alvida thing. I mean, he was kidnapped. They wouldn't care, would they? Oh, and speaking of, here come the Marines. I mean, yeah, the Marines probably had asked him to leave. At least they don't get reported.
And the guy telling them this is named Ripper.
Okay.
Commander Ripper.
So it's time for Luffy and Kobe to part ways, and in what first seems like a dick move, but is in reality a brilliant act of kindness, Luffy blabs about Kobe's secret until Kobe snaps and decks him, thus making it clear Kobe is not a pirate. And it works, even if the Marine head knew.
See, moments like this make you wonder how stupid Luffy actually is, because this is legitimately smart.
Yep.
And he's the only kind of character who could pull this thing off.
I think what an explanation that I've seen really well is that he's very emotionally smart. He understands how people act and think, but he doesn't understand anything else. I also have a slight correction from what I said when we were first viewing this show. I said that 4Kids cut away from the scene where Kobe punches Luffy, but that was actually left intact. But they did remove the scene where Luffy punches him back a second later.
Like, don't change this at all! It's necessary!
We gotta do it for the kids.
Oh, if 4Kids wasn't already bankrupt.
And technically they are.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if they weren't. Yeah, this...
With the, I am a man!
But no, I do love this scene. It's fantastic. And to cap it off, Kobe and the Marines salute Luffy and Zoro as they leave. God, the scene gets me every time.
Yeah.
Every one of us must now
go without food for 3 days.
even myself.
Yeah, this episode was fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not much to say. Like, Luffy and Zoro working in sync for even their first battle, it's just so perfect.
So good.
It's a good end to, well, technically there's one more episode for this arc, but this would be like a good an end cap to the Romance Dawn arc in general.
Yeah. Shall we move on to episode 4?
Yeah.
Luffy's past. Enter red-haired Shanks. Again, I know many people who want to.
4Kids title, The Passing of the Hat.
Like, that one's not too bad, even though, like, they don't... Like,
In my opinion, it's just stupid.
Well, no, there's actual significance to the hat, and it
There
actually
is.
makes more sense in time.
But it sounds like Shanks is dying.
Yeah. We get far worse 4Kids titles as we move on.
Oh joy! So this title always confused me because this is chapter 1 of the manga. Why is it not the first episode?
Because they probably wanted to be more action-oriented to get you hooked into the series.
Fair enough.
Even though, in a sense, this is kind of like how Hunter x Hunter... Even though it started in the present, there is, like, a flashback portion to it to establish why the main character becomes this way.
Okay.
The anime cuts out a couple things from the beginning and end of, like, chapter 1. The latter showing up way later in the anime. While the first one doesn't show up until, like, one of the specials. And, like, the thing, I'll just say right now, the thing they cut out at the start is Luffy cutting himself under his eye to prove he's a man.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's how he got the scar.
And everyone was like, "Yeah, you wouldn't do it, does it?" What the fuck?
Yep. We open on a group of pirates spotting Nami in a ship. It ends poorly. For them! I did spot the Panda Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Not quite the same thing, but good catch. Panda Man will return.
Nami fucking rules.
Panda Man will return in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. Insta-rain.
You can't steal our boat. That's illegal.
That's what we're gonna do to you.
The scene is kind of pointless, but it does serve to establish that Nami's good at predicting the weather.
Oh, okay. Meanwhile, Luffy and Zoro are hungry and lost. Turns out Zoro's the worst person ever when it comes to navigation. Like, he became a bounty hunter because he couldn't find his way back to his village.
Yeah.
But you got lost. I didn't get lost.
Okay, so getting yourself the fuck lost competition between Zoro, Ryota from Ranma 1/2, and Leon from Pokemon. Who wins or
Ryoga.
I guess loses?
Nobody.
Ryoga.
They never show up to the starting point.
Yeah, I mix up my Rio names, I guess.
You're good.
I think eventually, you know how in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the way that you successfully figure out how to fly is to throw yourself at the ground and miss.
Yeah.
Zoro would figure that out.
Yep. Nice dissolving in the flashback. So, this is red-haired Shanks, played by Brandon Potter, who was Sven in Black Cat, Kenji in School Rumble, the villain in Opera Ranmon, Apul in Dragon Ball Z, Sanai in The World Ends With You, Godot in Ace Attorney, Tomohiko Goryoku in Danganronpa 3, and Gunhead in My Hero. In Japanese, he's played by Shuichi Ikeda, who was Charon Zable, a.k.a. Quattro Bagina in Gundam, Captain Napolipolita in Project Echo, Martin Reist in Monster, Marluxia in Kingdom Hearts, Shido in Persona 5, and Wadatsumi in Xenoblade. Shanks and his crew are staying in Luffy's hometown for a while, including...
Rosen?
Yep. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Shanks' 4Kids voice actor was Tom Sorata, who really only voiced him, a couple of other One Piece characters, and oddly, Lecter from the Virtual World filler arc of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Wow! Everyone's
And
favorite character, Lecter!
And for some fucking reason, the direction 4Kids gave him called for him to voice the character with this really bad Cockney accent.
Cause he's a pirate, he is! Fuck off.
Coupled with the pirate lingo, it just sounds laughably bad. Like, there's a reason that fan parody One Piece of Crap called him Shanks the Friendly Chimney Sweep.
Oh, you mean made by friend of
Take my blue eye!
You mean made by friend of the show, Cal Carosa?
Yes!
Which we learned the other day?
Yeah, I remember that Flash animation from way back in the day. Again, my only exposure to One Piece back then was people bitching about the 4Kids stuff for good reason. And I somehow never paid attention to who animated that until I rewatched it in preparation for this podcast. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
He's like, I know that guy!
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. Shanks and his crew are staying in Luffy's hometown for a while, including Shanks himself, first mate Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, and Yasop. We'll talk about their voices when they show up again, as we're going long as it is. Oh shit, Mountain Bandits, which frankly, I'm shocked don't show up really again. Like, in a series as long as this, you'd think they'd visit it again.
I mean, they don't spend a lot of time in the mountains.
They spend some time in the mountains.
I mean, also they're like no pirate would drink juice, and I'm like, I mean, you probably should if you want to prevent scurvy.
Yeah, just like, oh my god.
In the 4Kids dub, at first they edit out the wine bottle next to Shanks, but it magically reappears just before Higuma smashes it on him.
They're already giving up!
Makes you wonder why they bothered, other than, oh, we can't imply that a pirate would be drinking. It's even dumber because when Shanks offers it to Higuma, the bottle's color is changed to orange, which was apparently enough. So why didn't you just do that?
I don't fucking know!
Yeah, water. Now it's
Now it's beer! Yay, beer! We will talk about the bartender Makino, played by Gwendolyn Lau, who was Sheska in Fullmetal Alchemist, Yukino in Samurai 7, and Sarah Adiemus in School Rumble. In Japanese, she's Makiko Omoto, who was Sayaka Maizono in Danganronpa, Kirby, Lin, and Ness in Smash Brothers, and Viridi in Kid Icarus Uprising.
Okay, now what I was gonna say about the no pirate drinks juice thing, and of course 4Kids kind of fumbling the ball with that shit. Okay, so there's another 4Kids, a bit of 4Kids One Piece criticism I remember from back in the day. This huge fan comic that I actually dug this up in preparation for this podcast, just for nostalgia's sake, called One Piece Debate. You can find it on the artist's DeviantArt to this day. Artist is Garth to the Second Power. And And there's panels from this that still stick in my brain to this day, particularly them talking about how alcohol has changed, and it shows a parody of again, scene with Shanks and Luffy in the bar, with Shanks going, "Real men don't drink apple juice, Luffy. They drink grape juice. Only a real man can withstand the acid indigestion this shit brings." But Captain, what about your elevated blood fructose level? Don't you think you've had enough? Oh, I'll fucking tell you what I've had enough. You're mean when you have acid indigestion. Yes, I am reading directly from the comic.
Fair enough. I'm sure Isaac can edit it in.
Yeah, I may have been downloading a lot of fan comics and doujinshis lately, just
Fair
in
enough.
case shit happens.
Fair. Question: why are they called berries?
I don't know.
No idea.
That's just fantasy currency.
Fair enough. Shanks with that Bobby McFerrin life philosophy.
Also, wait, sorry, one more thing that hit me about the juice thing. Isn't most alcohol just the juice of fruits or grains
Yep.
that's been left out for a while?
Yep.
So,
In
Shanks,
Japan,
you're...
go ahead.
Shanks, you're drinking juice.
But yeah, in Japan they would be more pronounced as belly,
I see.
but obviously the
Yeah.
translation.
Yeah.
Wait, belly? Like bells, so it's Animal Crossing currency. Where's Tom Nook in this universe?
I'm sure he'll show up. Luffy just eating any random shit he finds in a box, and in this case, it was the gum fruit. Say goodbye to swimming, Luffy, because yeah, we forgot to mention that. The devil fruits make it so you can't swim.
Shanks, that's on you for leaving the fruit out where the big eater kid can get it.
The box was
You can
literally
do
open.
Hang on a second, guys. I need to find my giant pan of gasoline. I was washing some clothes. I can't find it. Luffy, oh my god!
It's also funny that Luffy was already wearing a anchor.
Sure, this is Anchor, yeah.
Yeah. Also, when we gotten to when the bandits show up yet?
Yeah.
We're mountain bandits. Does it say that on your business card? Also, if you care, Higuma's voice actor was 4Kids voice actor was Dan Hoverman, who voiced a few other One Piece characters, a couple of Sonic X characters, Bishop from the 2003 TMNT series, and somehow Captain Harlock for a brief period of time.
That actually does bring me to his voice, because I brought it up briefly when he, ate it. He's played by Kyle Bear in Funimation. We, of course, know as Kazuichi, Kaido, Kamina. I could go on. In Japanese, he's Yukimasa Kishino, who is Mercenary Tao, the fight announcer and birder in Dragon Ball Z, Dalzim in the Street Fighter II OVA, Lafarja in Ray Earth, Goldar in Power Rangers, Loose Ruth in Trigun, Cow Cow in Dynasty Warriors, Cassius Bright in Trails of Cold Steel, and Oscar Hemeros in Zoids.
Howdy, boys. I'm Loose Ruth.
I love Loose Ruth. Luffy, channeling Scrappy Doo, tries to take on the mountain by himself. It doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Oh shit, here comes the mayor. Whoop slap. I love his name.
What's the mayor gonna do? And apparently his response is just, please leave.
I'll pay you.
Money.
And then, by God, that's the Shanks Crew's music.
The fucking Mortal Kombat gong there when Shanks and his crew show up.
Yeah, and then we get the coolest fucking thing, because a guy points a gun at Shanks' head, and then Lucky Roo, out of fucking nowhere, shoots him first.
Two things. This is why some fans have like the running joke that Lucky Roo is the fastest pirate in the world.
What, a fat
And
guy can't be
second-
sneaky?
Yeah. So there's a rather infamous 4Kids change here.
Oh God!
When Higuma's crew threatens Shanks with a pistol to his head, it's changed to a court gun. And then, when Lucky Roo shoots the guy, they dub in a line from Shanks going, when he wakes up, tell him it was a cat gun.
I think he would know by the fact that he's not fucking dead! Oh, God. But yeah. Fucking. Oh, yeah. They're fucking pirates. Of course they fight dirty.
Yeah.
Notice Ben Beckman doesn't fire that gun.
Yeah. Even in the fighting game Grand Battle, he just pistol whips people with it.
Yep.
Although, that didn't stop 4Kids from editing out his arm pointing the gun at Higuma afterwards.
You know what would be great? A new Grand Battle game. That shit was so much fun.
They also removed... You
To
first,
this
Isaac.
day, he has never. He still hasn't fired his gun.
Wow!
Yeah.
Does he even
I don't
keep it
actually
loaded?
I don't actually know how to use this thing.
In 4Kids, in the 4Kids dub, they also removed his cigarette, which I honestly didn't even know was a cigarette at first. I thought it was just a piece of straw.
Yeah, just make it that. Yeah. Everyone knows mountain bandits hate the ocean. That's just science. And yeah,
I would never think to look for us on the ocean.
And speaking of science, yeah, Luffy just immediately starts drowning.
Yeah.
And then we get...
And then
Good.
And then Shanks doing the Macaulay Culkin hands on his face.
Oh my God!
He's gone.
For some reason, Brandon Potter's delivery there has the same energy of Christopher Walken going,
Oh no! Captain Bell has been crushed!
Oh no! Monkey D. Luffy has been drowned!
Series over.
We should change it. We should change his name to Monkey Ben Luffy.
yeah, So, can you talk about the Lord of the Coast?
Yeah.
God, Oda's monster designs are so fucking cool.
Yeah. An unorthodox form of karma, but still, Higuma gets fucking ed.
Yep. And Shanks with the save, mostly. It's Shanks with the fucking nat 20 intimidation check on Lord of the Coast.
This will be important later.
Yeah. And believe it or not, 4Kids showed Shanks losing his arm with no changes.
Whoa! Didn't even censor the blood?
There
What
was no
blood?
blood.
There was no blood to censor out.
For some reason I thought there was like a bloody stump.
No.
Wow.
In the manga there was, but not in the anime.
Frankly amazed they kept that. That's like I'm used to them just cutting pivotal plot points.
Look, there are points where things are just unavoidable.
Yeah, and they cut them anyway.
You would think that.
Like we saw it earlier. We saw it with Kobe punching Luffy.
I'm sorry. I have to do this. Shanks, you just lost your arm. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm alright.
You know, okay, so we watched this with our friends, and our friend Jeff, when he saw this, was like, "Don't worry, I got another one." And then Shanks said, "Don't worry, Luffy, it's just an arm. I've got another one."
You just wait until it grows back.
What is Shanks, a gecko?
And even with that one arm, this is still one of the strongest regular humans in the series.
Yeah, he's just that good.
Oh, don't be such a baby, Luffy. Arms grow back.
No, they don't.
Don't.
God, just the entire scene of Luffy getting Shanks' hat, great stuff.
Gee, Shanks, aren't you in pain? Oh, immensely.
Oh yes, excruciatingly, especially with the salt.
By the way, how are you swimming right now?
Really powerfully.
I've seen that edit where it's under the water. Shanks is just treading water.
Just kicking his legs, yeah.
Like
How
mashing
did
out,
you got?
like mash on the broom.
Yeah. How did he swim back to shore? Did they just get him? I'm assuming they just got him.
Well, yeah. I mean, Shanks can swim. The problem is when Luffy goes in the water, he becomes like an anchor and sinks.
No, it's more. How did they like swim back to shore with Shanks having to carry Luffy and not having a second arm?
Someone probably found them.
Exactly. They probably just the crew probably just got him.
I mean, the crew was right there, so yeah.
Yeah. Back in the present, Luffy gets his head caught in a bird's mouth. Oh, Luffy.
Luffy's like, hey, look, a bird. I wonder if it's small or if it's just perspective. Perspective! And then with the pirates from earlier, Zoro's just rowing. He's like, I can't stop! You're gonna have to jump in!
What the fuck?
The roller coaster from, are you trying to kill us, to stop the boat now, to, we'll row for you.
Yeah, Zoro also with the intimidation check and some punching.
He is known as the Pirate Hunter, so...
This buggy guy seems terrifying. Oh, and he's also a devil fruit eater. How about that? And he just shot Luffy down. Right next to where Nami was fleeing. That's convenient.
I forgot that Buggy's ship was pink. It's not pink, it's lightish red.
It's not even lightish
You
red.
want to know the name of Buggy's ship?
Sure.
Sure.
Please be the circus. Please be the circus.
He's sensitive about the clown thing, isn't he?
It is called the Big Top.
Yes!
Close enough.
Yes! Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, he calls himself Buggy the Clown.
Yeah.
But yeah, this episode is a perfect origin story for Luffy, but I understand why it's put in the spot now. You do need some action to boost it a bit.
Also, I do love Luffy being like, I got shot! Awesome!
Yeah. That was cool as hell! He's turning into Sonic.
I will say, since we didn't really talk much about the whole Shanks going off back to sea and giving Luffy his hat scene.
Yeah.
I will say, I just thought, well, Luffy, you're a good boy. What a good pirate you'll be. But my life, my love, and my family is the sea. I had to modify it to be more platonic.
Fair. What a good friend you will be. But yeah,
Oh! I just found out that bird that almost ate Luffy,
Yeah.
its name is Pinky.
Does it have... I was just about to ask, is there another one named the Brain?
Maybe later. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh,
It's
oh my god! Oh my god!
Hey, God.
It'd be the bird brain.
They made a plush of it.
Awesome! Oh! I kind of
Okay.
want... Yeah, put it in the muted. I kind of want it.
I put it in the One Piece
That works.
channel.
That works too. Oh, that
I'm
is...
sorry, it's not a plush. Wait, what is this?
I don't know, but I want it.
Bon Journey. Oh, it's that mobile game.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
That's why Luffy looks like an emoji here. But yeah, also with with Shanks on the boat, I'm just thinking of the riff tracks of Titanic, and just I don't know, fucking Ben Beckman going, "I'm going to sink this bitch." Shall we get to our segments, or did anyone have everything on this episode?
No, it's a good origin story for Luffy. I didn't, and I still really enjoy Shanks just being awesome. Like, you really do get how Luffy looks up to him.
All right, now with the segments, I have a question. Are we going to try to go by Gigaboot's rules, which is that we try not to pick the same thing?
I mean,
I think it's kind of hard to do this early in the game.
That's fair.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Then let's get to our first segment, the Luffy moment of the week. What was Luffy's best moment this week? Who wants to go first?
I would
I'll do
argue the Kobe's the last thing he did with Kobe.
That was mine as well, getting Kobe to punch him.
Yeah, same.
That
Oh, the
moment
funniest...
was awesome.
Sorry, go ahead.
That moment was awesome, but I went with Luffy versus the firing squad.
That's pretty good. I would also say Luffy bursting out of the barrel. Real good.
And I would also say, at least the funniest Luffy moment of the week is him just dragging Helmeppo around trying to...
God, yeah! Now here's a difficult one. Most valuable pirate. Who was the best character of the week? I'm gonna...
Zoro.
That's fair.
Zoro.
I'm gonna request that we not say Luffy just because we have a whole segment for him. I'm gonna go with Nami.
Fair enough.
Isaac.
I would say Zoro, if only because Nami hasn't done much.
I will say most valuable pirate does not have to be a pirate. So, yeah, fair enough. Okay, now we're going with best and worst moment in line. We'll start with worst. What was the worst moment or line of this set?
I wasn't going to hit you.
For me, worst was Vic.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I forgot.
That's literally every episode until the opening
That's the joke.
Yeah, I forgot. I was so caught up in the euphoria of of One Piece that I forgot Vic Mignogna existed.
Yeah, if I don't have anything, like, I'll just go with Vic. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, my worst moment this week was the 4Kids edit with Luffy going, "I wasn't going to hit you."
Yep.
I'll stick with that too.
I'll actually go with them cutting the yeah, actually same. If it's them cutting the him hitting Kobe,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'm yeah. Anyway, just assume Vic is always an honorable mention for worst in life.
Yeah.
Let's go with best. I got 2, so I have a backup.
There were a lot of good moments, but I'm honestly going to go with Zoro eating the rice balls. That was a really sweet gesture.
That was real good.
Well, my favorite moment of the week is actually another Zoro moment, but it's just him establishing what his fighting style is. When Luffy's like, "Yeah, I didn't know which sword was yours."
We didn't even talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Luffy sees 3 swords. He doesn't know which one is Zoro's, so he has.
They're all mine.
This, and he's like, all of them.
Yep. Isaac.
The bit where he's holding off all those swords, but also telling Luffy what he's gonna do while he's like working for him, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2. Then it's either the Marines saluting Luffy or Lucky Roo with the kill shot.
Both of those were pretty great.
Yep.
And I do believe,
honestly, with One Piece, there is no wrong answer.
Yeah, there's some really good shit. As we'll find out next time with episodes 5 through 8, which we'll be covering the Orange Town arc.
Okay.
The twist is that they're serving grape.
Not yet. We haven't gotten to the Baratie yet.
Yep.